Hello 皆さん This is Yuki, Realism Iteration VUL, and today I'm going to record another video about sports anime recommendations, part 2. So, before we dive into my recommendations for the sports anime, first thing I would like to say that I didn't watch every single sports anime out there. Like, to be honest, if you come to me and say, hey, why are you not including this one? It's a masterpiece. I would say, well, maybe I just didn't watch it, and that's it. So, yeah, that's one thing I'd like to point out. Second, I'm not saying these are the best of the best. These are just my personal preferences. So, if you get into them, that would be really nice. If you start one of these shows and you think, okay, this is not really what I was expecting, then it's up to you to drop it, because that's always a choice. Now, the first one I'd like to talk about now is SK8, or it's also written SK Infinity. And I have been pronouncing it for like ages, using the French pronunciation SK8. Why? Well, because I'm French speaker too, so let's just ignore how much messed up that was, actually. So, SK Infinity was released in 2021, it has 12 episodes, and it is an anime, as you might have guessed, about skating. The unique part about it is about board skating. Like, there has been like almost never a new anime in the recent 10 years which is about board skating. So the story is revolving around high school student Reki Kian. He's passionate about one thing, skateboarding. And when night falls, he heads to the S, an illegal underground race inside a mine where skaters compete in highly dangerous situations. After a loss that results in his skateboard being destroyed and his arm being broken, Ricky is now incapable of practicing at all. While working, Ricky runs into his new classmate, Langa Hasegawa, a half Canadian and half Japanese boy, with no skateboarding experience whatsoever. Langa is in a desperate need of money. After they both visit S, when tasked by Ricky's boss, they got into trouble and are forced into a bet that requires Langa to skate in a race. However, the mysterious transfer student holds a trump card that Ricky isn't aware of, one which might help him with the race in the most unexpected way. Well, this is the summary of the story, and now I would like to dive into reasons why you should be watching SK Infinity. What makes the show really work is the fact that the writers and animators of SK Infinity really get skateboarding. Like, you really feel that, like the angles and the thrill and everything. Like, you feel like they are not just showing you an anime about skateboard, but like they really get the vibes of it. What it means to be a skateboarding and what goes in the mind of skaters in general. And the other point is that the animation is perfect for the fast action of the skateboarding races, which really matches very well, I would say. And as you might have guessed, and I said already, it's thrilling, it's funny, but also unique in the character arcs and dynamics, according to some of the commentaries. Another disclaimer I would like to make, most of the summaries I'm reading right now are coming from my anime list, and also the comments, I share them from my own personal experience of watching these animes, but also other animators, other commentaries who have went through the process of analyzing this anime. So I read the commentaries for you, and I go through this really long text of analysis and things, and then I pick just the right words, which I think are the right words. So, the next anime I would like to introduce to you today is called Cross Game. And Cross Game was released in 2010 and has 50 episodes. And just to be honest, Cross Game had really changed my mind about baseball. I have never been myself a fan of it, but it really got me to understand why people might be into baseball at any point in their lives. And so, let me give you first of all this summary of the story, because I guess that would make things much easier when I start speaking about it. And the story is revolving around Ko Kitamura and Aoba Tsukishima, who are often at odds, even though their families happen to be close friends and business partners. Although the only child of a sports shop owner, Ko has never been interested by playing baseball. Despite this, he possesses an impressive batting ability honed by frequent visits to the local baseball batting center run by Tsukishima's family. On the other hand, Aoba loves to play baseball and is a star player with exceptional pitching form. However, These two seemingly complete opposites share something very important to them. Wakaba Tsukishima, Aoba's older sister and Ko's destined sweetheart. Admired by the quarrelsome duo, Wakaba often finds herself the catalyst to their never-ending rivalry. So if you ask me for the most honest reason why did you start an anime about baseball if you have never been into baseball? And the most honest answer would be because I'm a shoujo hore. If I see couples, I just watch the anime. But the main reason typically is the fact that Ko is a nice guy. And honestly, you get tired of those really edgy, loud male leads, MCs in shonen sports anime, because you're like, why not be quiet? Why not be just a good guy? Why do you need to go through all this kind of dramatic turns in order to reach that one point? He's a refreshing change from many of the cocky and selfish leads, and he is the type who would be the male protagonist best friend typically in anime series. And the other point I would like to highlight is that the main character lives outside of the field is equally important to the games or to the tournament or challenges, whatever is happening, which is kind of an unusual point. It's something you typically only find in Adachi Mitsuru mangas or animes. Because usually if you notice it in sports anime, like the game or the tournament or whatever is happening on the field takes like 60, 80, 90% of the showtime. Like any time for the characters to attend their high schools or to visit their families or to eat together with friends or feed the cat. It's literally something extremely minor and the time allocated to it is extremely short. So you barely remember it after you finish the anime. However, this one, no. Actually, they make you get the best of both, which is really impressive, I think. So don't only focus on the games there, but also it would be good if you notice how this character development is happening during the Bluelock series and their own thoughts and everything going on. Now I'm gonna move on to the next Adachi Mitsuru anime. So if you like it cross game, you will definitely like Mix. And if you like it mixed but you don't know about cross game, it's good to try on cross game. So Mix was released in 2019. It has 48 episodes and 2 seasons. And the second season is called Mix Misei Story, which I still have to watch yet. It was released fairly recently and I was really busy during that time. But I'm looking forward to it because it's one of my favorite stories, and again, there is no excuse to miss out on an Adachi Mitsuru anime. So just to give you a brief summary of the story, because of the legend left by Tatsuya Mitsugi, Meisei Academy High School was well known for their strong baseball team. But 26 years after their glory, team has not been able to keep their record and has since lost their fame. Two stepbrothers, Soichiro and Toma Tachibana, aim to revive the once strong Meisei Academy baseball team and enter the National High School Baseball Championship. That's the summary. Now I'll move on to the part where I speak about the reasons why you might get attached to the show of Mix. It feels like a masterclass in pacing. It means that it's not too slow-paced and it's not too fast-paced that you cannot keep up with the events and the changes and everything going on. It really gives you that I have no idea how long this episode was going feeling, which I really love because it's very rare that you experience it nowadays. The other point I would like to make about Mix is that it also features a large and surprisingly well-rounded supporting cast, choosing to actually properly develop almost everyone on screen, bearing the most minor roles. Which is a bit unusual because usually in sports anime, or let's say kind of sport shonen anime, you would realize there is this huge focus on the 2-3 main characters and everyone else is just either a supporting character, like a shadow of a supporting character whom you basically never remember what they look like or what their personality was like because it's like a whiteboard thing. Or you have this antagonist who are either too much feisty and strong or sort of easily defeated and then you move on over them. So to see a show where minor characters are properly written That's a gold. That's something you should never miss out on. Have you ever heard about Kyudo? It is the archery in Japanese culture, and basically you have certain type of clothes, stance, rules in order to play the sport. If you have not ever watched anything related to Kyudo, maybe it's good to start with Tsurune, because Tsurune really gives you a good run through the basic rules and the mindset and everything that you need to know. If you are a fan of Free, Iwatobi Club, swimming, you will definitely love Tsurune. If you have your own critics about Free, you will need to put them aside and try Tsurune. Tsurune was released in 2018. It has 27 episodes and 2 seasons. And the story is revolving around how Minato Narumiya used to be passionate about Kyudo, until an incident caused him to abandon the sport altogether. Inspired to take up his bow again in high school, he and his friends now take aim for the first place in the Perfect World Tournament. Well, typical sports anime summary. But I have really to let you know, Tsurune can be, for some people, a really emotional roller coaster. As you have from your own experience with Free, it's not just an anime about sport. It's actually more than that. So before I dive into, well, excuses why you should be watching Tsurune, I would like to make one small critique, which honestly I agree with commentaries regarding it. It's the fact that the show ignores so many opportunities for character development and enrichment. I feel like it's such a waste, especially in the very first episodes when I was watching it, and I was thinking, why not give us more? Why not make it more dramatic? Why not make it more deep than that? So yeah, I wish the author really put in slightly more effort than what he did so far. But for some other people, actually, no, it wasn't really as much lacking, but it actually, let's say, it was more like an emotional journey rather than a sports anime. So Tsurune is often recommended for people who have a soft spot for shows that are heavier on the emotions and drama and lighter on the sports side. I wouldn't say they don't really introduce the sports enough, but I feel like the character relationships and the thoughts behind why each character is doing Kyudo itself is much more important. And that's what keeps you hooked until the end, and let's get you jumping into the movie and then the second season after the movie. Yes, you got me. Please don't tell me you haven't watched Bluelock, or you didn't hear about Bluelock, or you have never ever seen any meme or banner or anything related to Bluelock. Because if you didn't, sorry, I don't know you. I don't know what you are doing in the anime world. How dare you? Like, you don't even need to be a sports anime fan to hear about Bluelock. Somebody must have forced you to watch it in your community. Someone must have annoyed you day and night about it, and just go watch it, even out of curiosity. Why? Well, simply because, like, the timing when Bluelock was released and the things happening in the real world sort of coincidentally, or maybe not so coincidentally, aligned in such strange ways. So I remember last year when Bluelock was airing, and it was that one hype episodes where the main character was fighting for his life in the football match. Japan was also playing in the International Football Cup. And of course, as you all know, Japan doesn't traditionally have a strong football team, so no one was expecting anything from it. People were just, well, thinking it's gonna lose anyway, so hopefully it doesn't lose by large margins, so it doesn't make things extra embarrassing for the people living in the country. But surprisingly, the first time, and I don't know how many years ago, probably in the 70s or something, Japan won actually a really major match against a European team in the International World Cup. And on the same week, it was released the Bluelock episode. So, like, and things kept going well for another couple of games, I think. Like, Japan was on the top of its game, And Bluelock was again getting even more popular than ever. People who have never heard about anime started checking Bluelock. And then they made Bluelock in one of the match the ambassador of football. I don't know how they explain this, but something like that. And there was this banners of Bluelock on the walls. And actually I remember it was really a time where it was the best and the most proud I was by being part of the web community. Like, yes, of course we know Bluelock. How dare you not know it? So yeah, let's move on over this little recap. So Bluelock was released in 23. It has 24 episodes, and it's revolving around Yuichi Isagi, who was a mere moment away from scoring a goal that would have sent his high school soccer team to nationals. But a split-second decision to pass the ball to this teammate cost him that reality. Bitter, confused, and disappointed, Isagi wonders if the outcome would have been different had he not made the pass. When the young striker returns home, an invitation from the Japan Football Union awaits him. Through an arbitrary and biased decision-making process, Isagi is one of the 300 U-under-18 strikers selected for a controversial project named Bluelock. So, this is what the story overall about. And if you remember, one of the times when during my old videos about sports anime, I told you that sports anime have one major choice to make. It is either to make it realistic and very mundane and people can just relate to it and think it's just reporting on what a real game would be like in any kind of sport, or it can dive in some mind-blowing exaggeration of the sport with sci-fi element. And I think this is pretty much what happened in Bluelock. So as you might have already guessed, this show is thrilling, it is funny, and foster curiosity and anticipation. And part is actually how it treats everything like life and death decisions or situations, from simple mini games to even the way players study and instant feeling of dread among the young players. And I really appreciated the exaggeration used as a storytelling device. Yeah, this is something I picked from one of the commentaries, but again, of course, I approve of it. Like, have you ever watched an anime regarding rugby? And I don't mean like the classical American rugby, but I mean something slightly different from that. If not, I would recommend All Out. All Out was released in 2017. It has 25 episodes. And the plot is revolving around Kenji Gion, who is a short but feisty high schooler freshman at Kanagawa High School. Right after the school's opening ceremony, he meets the tall and timid Sumiyaki Iwashimizu, and the two of them get an invitation to observe the rugby club. Well, as you know, in Japan, usually freshmen get invited to check all sorts of clubs because the expectation is that they might want to join one of them. So they get one free sessions or slightly more. And when Gion watches the match, he realizes that even though big and tall guys have an advantage, there are positions for people of all shapes and sizes. Immediately convinced that he has found a sport that he can excel in despite his short status, he signs up through Iwashimizu declines. Gion is unable to accept Iwashimizu's excuse and drags him back into the sport. Their training becomes intense as they aim to become the champions of Hanazono, the National High School Rugby Championship. And another addition I would like to flag out while speaking about this anime is that the drawing is kind of... the best I can say about it is that it's unusual. I mean, it's not the kind of drawing you would find usually in sports anime. It's more like classic shoujo BL type of anime. I'm not a big fan of BL, but when I started watching, I was like, wait a second, is this a BL or no? I need to know what I'm watching. I had to stop the episode and go and check the genre and then come back to continue the episode. So I was extremely confused. The characters are blushing a lot, they have long eyelashes, There are those moments which are kind of a bit confusing, but it's a bit expected, because it's still a sports anime where Fujoshis will make their own ships, and the authors will definitely use the opportunity. They will not let go of that. But still, like, I don't know. It's a bit kind of uncomfortable or kind of strange in the beginning, but then later on you get used to it and just accept it and move on, focusing more on the plot and the characters. As the fundamentals right about what a typical sports anime would be usually like, and yeah, the only remark I would say is about the drawing style. And the animation was good, but yeah, just the drawing style. So I hope you try it if you are interested, and that it has really plenty of fan service for girls. You will start admiring rugby out of nowhere, believe me. You will start wishing you could actually attend a real life match. The last anime I would like to recommend to you today is Kaziga Tsuyoku Futeiru. And in English it's Run with the Wind, and I have made a whole episode regarding this called Run with the Wind Transcends Sport Genre, and please check it out for more information. So thank you, have a nice week, bye bye!